Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Reverence and today we're gonna talk about Litematica. If you are familiar with this mod, you probably won't find anything groundbreaking in this video. But if this is new for you and you never used Litematica, then relax and let me show you why, in my humble opinion, this is a must-have mod. You probably sometimes wondered why on YouTube people often build their stuff like they were some sort of 3D printer, layer by layer all the way up. It's not a very intuitive way of building things if you ask me. And yet if you've seen any of my time lapses, you know that I build in the very same way. So why is that? The answer is obvious and simple. We design our builds in creative first. So when it comes to rebuilding it on survival, we already know where goes every single block. But how do we remember position of each and every block, you may ask? Well, it's another simple answer. We don't. That's what Litematica is for. In my previous video I mentioned that I got very specific plans for that area over there behind the granary. Let me reveal some of those plans to you right now by turning on the Litematica overlay. The ghostly structures that appeared right now are the buildings that I designed in creative, with the intention of building them in survival later. This is obviously helping me to plan things out and to see which buildings goes where and how it fits the environment around. Before we go any further and before I tell you exactly how to use Litematica, let's take a closer look at these buildings. As you can see, they are just holograms of the builds, not a real thing. I can fly just through them. And we got a lot of different colors here. For example, purple color indicates that, according to Schematic, this should be an air block, so it's fixed now. Red color indicates that there is something completely different according to Schematic here. When I mouse over it, you can take a look at the top right corner. It says that according to Schematic I should have a dirt path here. And it's fixed right now. Blue color indicates what block should go in this space. For example here, this should be a cobblestone wall. What's super cool about Litematica, I can use a middle mouse button to pick a block from my inventory. Just like that. And I can place it here. But wait, you see, it's marked in orange right now. What does it mean? It is correct block in correct space, but it is in slightly wrong state. You see, according to Schematic, it should be connected to left, right and top. So let's fix it real quick. Place this, and this. And now this block is in correct space, in correct state. Not so much this one, but I would have to build much more to fix that. Okay, let's talk about the Litematica menu now for a minute. The default keybind for that is M. As you can see, we got here a few options, but let it not scare you away. Each of these menus does exactly one specific thing, so it's very easy to get around. For now, let's just focus on schematic placements. Here, as you can see, we got a few buildings that I imported here from Creative. For example, Bakery, that is the building in front of us. By one click I can turn on and off the placement. But I can do a lot more. Let's go to configuration. Here I can move it around, block by block if I like. For example, I can move it up or down. I can rotate it. As you can see, it's currently rotated by 90 degrees clockwise. I can flip it along X or Z axis if I like. So I can manipulate it easily to place it exactly where I want it to be. In this menu we got also two very powerful tools, the material list and the schematic verifier. If we go to material list, obviously we see every single block that we need to prepare for this building. So it's very easy to make, it's just like a shopping list basically. But we got a few columns here. Available means how many of that I got in my inventory right now, so it's 0. Total and missing. Missing is a difference between total and how many of these blocks you already placed in your schematic placement. So if I would place 2 red bricks in this building in correct spot, this number would show that I need to place 273 more. When I'm preparing for the builds, I often treat this list as a basic shopping list. Whenever I prepare the correct amount of each block, I just hit ignore to remove it from the list. So when I empty this list, I know I'm ready for the build. Now let's take a second to look at the schematic verifier. Like I said, it's a very powerful tool, especially in the situation where you're building any redstone contraptions that could break if something was misplaced or you make any slightest mistake. By hitting start verification, I know exactly if everything is in order. If I would have any extra block, any incorrect state of the block or anything missing, I know instantly that something is wrong in my build. So if you build any flying machines, TNT dupers, anything like that that could break and blow up everything, this is your best friend from now on. At this moment in time, you probably wonder, yeah, Rev, it's nice and all, but in the end you are building things twice. Isn't it a bit of a waste of time building things in creative first? Litematica saves time. A lot of it. Trust me on that. I cannot stress enough how important it is. If you value your time, get Litematica right now and really thank me later. Now that I bombarded you with all of the reasons why Litematica is good for you, now let me show you how to use it. We are gonna jump to my creative test world and make a schematic out of the 2 huts that I prepared there. Welcome to my creative test world. Here, as you can see, I got 2 small huts that I would like to bring to life in my survival world. So, first thing I need to do is make schematic out of them. So to do that, first I need to position myself in one of the corners of the build. That would be here. Hit M to go to Litematica menu. While in area selection normal, go to area selection browser and hit new selection. Let's call it a simple hut. And leave it for now. As you can see, now we got a single block selected. But I want to make it entire build selected. So let's go to the opposite corner. So it would be somewhere like here. Let's pick a stick, that is a default tool for Litematica. And right click this block. So right now we got a single layer of the build selected. Now let's go to the Litematica menu, area selection browser. Let's configure our simple hut. Here we got sub-regions, because every build in Litematica can have multiple regions configured separately. And now we got our 2 corners. First, that I selected by standing there while creating new selection. And the corner number 2 that I picked by a stick. So let's move this up until it will select entire build. That should be it. Let's see. As we can see, entire build is in the selection now. So now that we selected entire build, we go to area editor again and we click save schematic. Let's call it a simple hut model 1. We got that. Now we gonna do the same with the second building. So position yourself in the corner of the build, go to new selection, simple hut 2. We got our first box selected. Let's go to the opposite corner and hit the opposite corner with a stick. That should be okay. Now M, going to area selection browser, simple hut number 2, configure subregion and move up until it will cover entire build. I'm not sure how tall it is. Let's fly up. And it looks that I marked it perfectly. So let's make schematic out of this. Area selection browser, configure simple hut number 2, save schematic, simple hut, model 2, save schematic. And now that we got our schematics prepared, we can go back to our survival world and import these buildings as a placement there. First thing we need to do when importing the schematic is loading the schematic to our world. So we're going to menu load schematics. We select our simple hut model 1. Notice this checkbox here. If I got it checked, it will automatically create a placement in this world. So let's hit load schematic. And we got our placement, but it's here in our granary. Let's give me a second and I will position it where I want it to be. Same with the second hut. Let me load it real quick. Load schematic. We got both of our buildings now. Let me just relocate them now. Okay, now that I have my two new buildings positioned correctly, I can show you the last thing about Litematica. And this is building stuff. If we go to configuration menu here, you can see we get a few more options here like colors, hotkeys, etc. But there is also a render layers option. Currently it's set to layers all. This shows the entire building. But for the building purposes, I would like to show only currently built layer. So let's go to single layer mode. Currently it's set to 120, that is the level I'm currently at. When building things with Litematica, as I showed you before, you can use a middle mouse button to use pick block option. So it picks the block from your inventory based on the ghostly block here. And like that, I can build layer by layer, block by block what I need. And what's super cool, I can select next layer instantly by pressing page up. And I'm moving to the next layer. And like that, I can 3D print the entire build layer by layer. I hope I convinced you into using Litematica from now on. It has a lot of benefits for you. I'm afraid I'm not gonna be able to build a second hut today. This video is already getting quite long. So thank you all for watching and see you in the next one.